You know that feeling when you're at the gym
Right.
on a treadmill?
Oh, yeah. Staring at the wall.
Exactly. You are just putting in the work. You're sweating. Your heart rate is up. You're staring at that little digital display, watching the miles tick higher and higher.
Right.
And it feels like you're accomplishing something massive. But then you look out the window and you realize you haven't actually moved a single inch.
Yeah, you're in the exact same spot you were like 45 minutes ago.
Exactly. It's that illusion of forward momentum.
You have all the physical sensations of a journey, but, none of the actual geographic progress.
Right. And that specific type of just exhausting stagnation is exactly how so many of us feel about our careers at some point.
Oh, absolutely. The dreaded plateau.
You hit a plateau, you're doing the tasks, you're getting the paycheck, you might even be securing, minor raises.
Yes, the cost of living bumps.
Right. But deep down, you're wondering, am I actually growing or am I just running in place? Like, do I just coast or do I need to do something radical?
Well, and today's source material takes a huge swing at that exact question.
It really does. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking a translated 2026 lecture excerpt from Gwangju, South Korea.
And this text argues that if you choose to just coast, you're actually committing a massive disservice to humanity.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
And its solution to that career plateau, it completely redefines what a job actually is.
Yeah, I mean, this is the exact opposite of standard HR advice.
Definitely not your typical career seminar.
Right. You're not going to hear tips on optimizing your LinkedIn profile or, negotiating a better benefits package here.
No, no.
This text offers a really profound philosophical reframing of global economics and personal growth.
Yeah.
And it's rooted in this concept called Hongik Ingen,
Hongi Bingan.
which roughly translates to living for the broad benefit of humanity.
So to give you some context on the source, this is actually a Q&A session.
Right.
There's this level 6 public servant in the Korean government system, and they're feeling entirely stuck.
Just completely stacked.
Yeah, they recently got promoted, they moved to a new region, they're laying down new foundations, but they aren't moving up to a higher agency.
Right.
So they ask a teacher for advice on how to develop themselves and actually achieve this Hongik Ingen ideal.
And the teacher's response, I mean, it just dismantles our conventional understanding of employment from the ground up.
It really does.
The core argument is that the public service sector, and by extension, the text implies the entire corporate system is actually a school.
A school, yeah.
It's an educational environment entirely funded by society and taxpayers.
Which is such a pivot. Because usually we think, oh, society creates these massive institutions so people can gain power or hoard wealth.
Right. But the text argues the exact opposite. Society creates them so you have a place to study.
Study.
And taxpayers are literally funding your classroom.
It makes me think about it like an RPG video game.
Oh, I like that. How so?
Well, most of us play the game of work to hoard gold or get a high score, right?
Ah.
Which translates to money and status in the real world.
Right. We want the highest stats.
Exactly. But the developer of the game, Society, actually designed it as an educational simulator.
Oh, yeah.
So the gold, the operating budget, the travel perks, they're just there to fund your next skill tree.
That is a perfect way to look at it. You are supposed to be leveling up your character's understanding of how the world operates.
Right, not just hoarding coins in a virtual bank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the text provides this grade-level framework that makes it incredibly concrete.
Yeah, the 1 through 9 thing.
Right. It equates job ranks to moving up grades in a school from 1st to 9th grade.
Okay.
So a promotion isn't simply a reward for past behavior. When you get promoted, you aren't just getting a new title.
You're getting a new syllabus.
Exactly. A brand new syllabus. You get new complex tasks. You have to navigate, a new tier of human psychology, and you are placed in entirely new environments.
Which completely flips how we view corporate perks.
Oh, totally.
The source points out that as you reach higher grades, the taxpayers, or the shareholders, fund things like international travel, larger budgets, more autonomy.
Yeah.
And we usually view those as luxury rewards for being important.
The data symbols.
Exactly. But the text argues they're given to you specifically to facilitate higher quality learning.
Right.
You are given a travel budget because your new syllabus requires you to understand global dynamics, not so you can just enjoy business class.
Right. It's a tool, not a treat.
Yeah.
And honestly, viewing your career through this lens, it's an instant structural cure for imposter syndrome.
Oh, wow. Yeah, explain that.
Well, think about it. When you get a massive promotion, say, you get bumped to regional manager, and you suddenly feel entirely overwhelmed by supply chain politics and personnel disputes.
You naturally think you're failing.
Right. You feel like an imposter. But under this framework, of course you don't know what you're doing. You just entered the ninth grade.
Right.
Your current struggles are just coursework. You aren't supposed to have all the answers on the first day of class.
You're supposed to study the new environment.
Exactly.
Okay, I love that. But it begs a huge question.
Okay.
If work is a school and a promotion is just a new syllabus, what happens when you max out?
Ah, right.
Let's say you reach level 5 in your organization. You look around, you assess your intellectual and emotional skills, and you realize you honestly do not have the capacity to reach level 4.
You've hit your absolute ceiling.
Exactly. Now, the standard worldly advice here is to celebrate. You made it to level 5.
Right. Kick back, coast.
Yeah. Collect that nice level 5 paycheck and just write it out quietly until retirement.
Well, the source states that doing that is a catastrophic error.
A catastrophic error.
It argues that if you hit that wall, you must leave. You have to exit the organization and re-enter society.
Okay, hold on. This is where I have to push back on behalf of, well, everyone listening.
Fair enough.
My soul might be atrophying by staying, but my soul doesn't pay my mortgage.
Right.
I mean, anyone with kids, a 30-year fixed mortgage, daycare costs, quitting a stable, high-level government job with a pension just because my quote-unquote learning has plateaued.
That sounds crazy.
It sounds completely financially irresponsible. How does the text reconcile this massive financial risk? If I leave, I'm just unemployed on my couch.
It reconciles it by forcing us to look at the ultimate non-renewable resource, which is your lifetime.
My lifetime.
Right. The teacher explains that if you stay in a role where you no longer have the potential to grow, society stops giving you new, high-quality
But
environments.
stop getting the new syllabus.
Exactly. You are no longer studying. You're just eating up resources that belong to someone else who actually needs that classroom.
Wow.
The text literally phrases this as wasting your lifetime. The security you feel is an illusion because you are allowing your ultimate potential to decay just for a paycheck.
Okay, but what about the money? Like, society isn't going to pay my mortgage just because I had an epiphany that I was wasting time.
Well, the text approaches this through the mechanics of societal energy.
Okay.
It argues that you leave because your foundational learning in that specific school is complete. You have extracted all the education that environment can offer you.
Right.
And once you do that, you have a strict responsibility to take that taxpayer-funded education and apply it in the real world.
Apply it. Okay.
If you squat in a role just for the money, you eventually face some sort of professional or personal crisis because you're out of alignment with your purpose.
Ah, I see.
But if you step out to apply your education to society, the text claims the universe or the broader economy structurally provides for you.
It just provides.
But, and this is a huge but, this requires a very specific evolution in how you work.
Okay, so this is the catch. If I take this terrifying leap, what are the new rules of the game?
Right.
What am I actually supposed to do with all this taxpayer-funded education once I walk out the door?
So the source outlines a three-stage historical evolution of human economic activity.
Okay, let's go through them.
Stage one is trade, or
Oops.
commerce.
Yeah.
In Korean, the text calls this jangsa.
Changsa. Got it.
This is the foundational stage. It's purely transactional. It's focused entirely on survival and basic profit.
Like exchanging goods for money. The absolute basics.
Exactly. Essential building block of an economy, but very basic. Then we evolve to stage two.
Which is enterprise. Or geo.
Right. And the text defines an enterprise in a very specific way.
Okay.
It is not just a traditional corporation. An enterprise is literally anything that grows.
Wait, anything?
Anything. By this definition, massive religious organizations are enterprises. Huge nonprofits can be enterprises.
Oh, wow.
The defining characteristic is that its growth inevitably attracts talents, or inja in Korean.
Okay, so the growth pulls in the smart, capable people.
Exactly. And it's these talented people who actually build the massive economy and the organization, not just the visionary founder alone.
Okay, but here is where the text gets super controversial. The teacher tells this public servant that the era of the enterprise is completely over.
Done. Finished.
Yeah. It says if you leave your job today in this modern era and you try to build an enterprise, you will fail 100% of the time.
Right.
But if you start a business or SEOP, you will succeed 100% of the time.
That is the claim.
And if enterprise is dead, does that mean capitalism is failing? Because looking at the stock market right now, enterprises seem to be hoarding wealth just fine.
Right. They look unstoppable.
The biggest tech companies look incredibly successful to me. How can the text claim they are failing 100% of the time?
Well, in the short term, yes, they are accumulating capital. But the text argues that structurally, the era of hoarding has reached its breaking point.
Okay.
It comes down to the vector of your motivation. In enterprise, the era that the text says just ended was entirely about inward growth.
Inward growth.
Right. It was about hoarding talent, gathering resources, and accumulating wealth to grow the self or the organization.
Oh, okay. So it acts like a massive vacuum cleaner.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
It creates this localized area of high pressure, and it pulls all the money, all the talent, and all the resources toward the center, right into the founders' or the shareholders' pockets.
That is the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And eventually, a vacuum cleaner that only sucks in dirt and never empties it, what happens?
It clogs, overheats, and bursts.
Exactly. The text argues that modern enterprises are overheating. They face mass burnout, public backlash, structural collapse, all because their only goal is getting bigger.
Wow.
But a business, as defined by this text for the current era, requires an entirely different outward-facing motivation.
Outward-facing.
Right. A business doesn't exist to hoard. It exists to distribute value and solve real problems in the wider society.
So if an enterprise is a vacuum, a true business operates more like a radiator.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, think about it. A radiator circulates heat. It doesn't hoard the thermal energy. It pushes it out to warm the entire room.
Okay.
And the mechanics of a boiler system actually dictate that the more energy it pushes out to society, the more cold water naturally flows back into its boiler to be heated again.
Yes.
It creates a sustainable convection current.
That is a brilliant mechanical explanation. A true business creates a sustainable current of value, which brings us to the strict parameters the source sets for what actually qualifies as this type of work.
Right, because if we need to be a radiator, what does that actually look like in the real world?
Exactly.
And the source claims that a true business only exists in 3 distinct forms: welfare, education, and culture.
Right. But before anyone listening rushes out to open a tutoring center or a local charity, the text drops a highly provocative statement here.
Yeah, this part is intense.
The teacher claims that humanity has never actually conducted a true welfare, education, or culture business. We have only ever engaged in activities.
Okay, hold on. Imagine someone who has dedicated 30 years of their life to running a food bank.
Right.
And they hear that they've never actually done a welfare business, only an activity.
It sounds terrible.
It feels incredibly dismissive of their sacrifice. Why isn't a massive charity considered a true welfare business?
It does feel harsh until you look at the mechanics of what the text is arguing.
Okay.
Handing out food to the hungry solves a symptom for one day. It is absolutely necessary for immediate survival, no question.
Right. People need to eat today.
Exactly. But it does not change the underlying structure of society. An activity essentially requires the poor to stay poor, so that charity has a reason to continue existing.
Oh, wow. That is heavy.
Right. A true welfare business, according to this philosophy, addresses the root cause of why those people are hungry in the first place.
So it's systemic?
Yes, it restructures the environment, the local economy, or the social systems so that hunger ceases to exist entirely.
Okay, I see the distinction.
An activity maintains the status quo. A true business fundamentally evolves society and eventually makes its own initial function obsolete.
So how do you cross that massive bridge? How do you move from a well-meaning activity that just treats symptoms to a 100% successful true business that cures the disease?
Well, the source provides a magic formula.
Okay, lay it on us.
You must have an ideology, or inyam.
Inyam.
Specifically, you need that Hangig ideology we talked about at the very beginning.
Right, the philosophy dedicated to broadly benefiting society and humanity as a whole.
Yes, and this is the operational mechanism behind that 100% success rate we mentioned earlier.
How does that work?
If you step out of your stagnant level 5 job and try to start a company just to make yourself rich, you are trying to build a vacuum cleaner.
You're building an enterprise.
Right. And structurally, according to the text, you will eventually fail.
Okay.
But if you step out with a genuine Hangig ideology, a true, actionable vision to improve the welfare, education, or culture of humanity, that ideology acts like a magnetic field.
Ah, because it attracts the talents.
Precisely. highly talented people, the intel,
Yeah.
they're exhausted by the vacuum cleaner model.
Oh, for sure. People are burned out.
Exactly. They want to attach their skills to a meaningful mission.
Yeah.
So a powerful, selfless ideology attracts these talents.
Right.
And when brilliant talents gather around a true ideology to solve root cause problems, they naturally attract the economy.
Wealth. Capital.
Yes. Capital, resources, public support, they always flow toward concentrated pools of talent solving massive problems.
So ideology pulls in talent, and talent pulls in the economy.
Exactly.
It's a self-sustaining radiator.
Yeah.
And this structure results in direct transformative benefits to the recipients. But crucially, the text points out that executing this earns the creator something that money absolutely cannot buy.
Right. Respect.
Yeah.
Or John Gown.
Respect.
The text explicitly notes that society does not respect you for running a massive, wealthy enterprise.
No, we really don't.
We might fear billionaires or envy them or use their products every day, but we do not inherently respect them for hoarding wealth.
Right, the vacuum cleaners don't get respect.
Exactly. You only earn true, lasting respect from society when you execute a true business that elevates humanity.
And the text actually critiques modern global leaders for this exact reason.
Oh, heavily.
It says they are failing because they have lost their ideology. They're just managing enterprises, trying to keep those vacuum cleaners running.
Right.
And honestly, we can flip this right back to you listening right now.
Yeah, let's bring it back to the individual.
If you feel stuck on that career treadmill, staring at the digital display but going nowhere, maybe it's not because you lack capital. Maybe it's not because you lack skills or you need to reformat your resume. Maybe it's because you lack an ideology. You just haven't defined how your accumulated knowledge is going to broadly benefit the people around you.
Which fundamentally changes the criteria for your next career pivot.
Completely.
The driving question is no longer what sector pays the highest starting salary.
Right.
The question becomes, where can my specific taxpayer-funded education best serve the culture, education, or welfare of society?
And when you answer that, the economy naturally follows the value you provide.
That's the promise of the text.
Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We started by reimagining your current frustrating job, not as a corporate trap, but as a heavily funded classroom where every promotion is just a demanding new syllabus.
Right.
We looked at the sheer bravery required to recognize your level 5 ceiling and the mandate to step off the treadmill rather than wasting your lifetime coasting in comfort.
Yeah.
And we explored the mechanical shift from the dying era of the self-serving vacuum cleaner enterprise into the new era of the ideology-driven radiator,
A business focused entirely on welfare, education, and culture.
designed to permanently evolve humanity.
So the reflection you are left with today is deeply personal.
Yeah.
What grade are you currently in at your job? Are you still actively studying the syllabus in front of you, extracting lessons from the difficult people and the complex environments?
Or have you hit your ceiling?
Right. Are you just coasting, eating up your lifetime and societal resources because you are terrified to leave the security of the classroom?
It's a tough question.
It is. And if you realize you are ready to graduate and leave, what is the ideology that drives your next step?
Wow. I want to leave you with one final thread to pull, based on the source's most controversial claim.
Okay.
The text insists that despite all our sprawling school districts, our elite universities, our massive online courses, humanity has only ever gained knowledge.
Right.
We have never actually experienced true education.
Right.
So as you go about your day today, look at the institutions around you and ask yourself if everything we currently know is just the transfer of information, just an activity that treats the symptom of ignorance. What would an education business that truly transforms the root structure of humanity actually look like?
That's the real question.
If you were to step off the treadmill today, what path would you build? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.